And welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sports Talk New York, the Facebook Live edition. Really looking forward to this one. As always, we do our Cardboard Memories show with Scott Stimell from Cardboard Memories, located in Comac, New York, cardboardmemories.com. Scott is an expert memorabilia collector for many, many years. And if you've been tuning into the show, you know that we always get into some really cool topics. And last week, Scott mentioned that it would be cool to see other people's collections. So a little later on in the show, we're going to do that as well. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to start off talking about news. All right. And, you know, baseball cards, believe it or not, during this pandemic has made news as Mike Trout's autographed rookie. It's a refractor card. Sold for nearly $1 million at auction this week. Scott, like nearly $1 million for a Mike Trout rookie card. Can you explain that?
I can't quantify it. I really, honestly, I can't. I don't, you know, some things are unexplainable, and it's very hard to get me to be speechless. But like, I don't know what to say.
You have to assume, Scott, that somebody who bought that is assuming that Mike Trout ends up in the Hall of Fame. So what happens if he decides?
I don't care where he goes.
But even that. So what happens tomorrow?
AJ, how many people are in the Hall of Fame right now?
300, 400, something. Okay. I don't know exactly.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think now we're bringing on a Montreal Expo's collector? Do you think Larry Walker's refractor PSA 10 is going to go for $900,000?
No.
Let's quantify.
Scott, though, is what happens if tomorrow Mike Trout decides he doesn't want to play anymore? He decides to get on a boat and sail off to Tahiti. Does that make the card? Does that maintain the value of that card, or does that kill the value of the card?
I would say that would semi-kill the value of the card. I can't correlate it as much because this guy wasn't a guy for a long, long time. But I think we brought it up briefly. But you know, what happened to Jeremy Lin when people were chasing his cards and paying $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 for Jeremy Lin for Linsanity, when you could pretty much wallpaper your house with his rookie cards now.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, people are saying that Trout is the closest thing to like a Mays, a Mantle of this generation, and they're banking on him becoming that player. But you know, close to $1 million. Now the refractor makes it more common. It's got an autograph.
Listen,
really,
I want the card market to be strong. I never would think that I would believe that a card would be for $1 million. It's, to me, that's musical chairs. I use that analogy all the time. Musical chairs. I don't want to get stuck without the chair. But if you told me, if you told me I could buy the card for $500,000. And in 2 years from now, I'd sell for $900,000. I would have told you crazy. So when people ask me, you know, all bets are off when, you know, you just don't know who's getting behind it, what's going on. Is it a PR thing? I don't know. But, you know, getting back to that, a friend of mine just sold a Jeter 1993 SP. It went for $166,000. So, you know, riddle me this, Batman, right?
Right. You know, Sal says the guy who bought this car is not a collector. He's a speculator. He's going to lose a lot of cash. Yeah, but you know what? Just like Scott just said, you know, someone bought that card for a lot of money 3-4 years ago and made a lot of money on it. This from Ira, best card shop ever. Scott is a real mensch. How much did you have to pay Ira for that?
Yeah, that's a cousin of yours, right?
Actually, I met Ira I remember when I met Ira. I believe it was back in around 1997. And I haven't seen him, you know, very much over the years, but he's a good guy. I think he first met me in my store, which was next to Mark Assured Locksmith, which was where Daly Road and Jericho Turnpike.
Yeah.
I had
the Dairy Barn.
Yeah. If you ran into my store too fast, you would have hit your nose on the other side of the wall. And I used the ceilings and everything to hang hockey sticks and jerseys. And it was small but intimate, and it was really a great memory to have that store for a couple of years because it kind of bridged me to where I am today. All right.
Before we move on to our two collectors, what we spoke about last week was about scorecards and the memories it brings. So, you know, it had me, you know, running around looking, you know, for some stuff. So I did find this. All right. So this is my 1973 National League Championship playoff thing. So I was 13 years old at the time. 13 and a half, you know, almost going 14. All right. And if you look at this, All right. Evidently, I brought a pen, which is I never used to score the games in pen that I could remember, but it was one of those pens that had on the top the green, the red, the blue, and the black ink. You know, remember those?
Yeah,
Right. Right. So basically, I did the Cincinnati Reds in red and the New York Mets in blue. And you can even see the pitching changes when, the Reds made pitching changes on the Mets side. I did it in red. So, when you say it brings back memories, this brought back memories of something that I didn't even really remember. So, and then like when I saw it, I said, and then I remembered that pen. I remember it, which is crazy. I remember vividly the top of the pen was white and it had the little tabs down and the bottom was green. And each time when you pressed it, and like I even put who was umpiring at what bases, which I can't imagine why it would do that as a 13-year-old, but it's crazy. Yeah, it was interesting. You're right.
But you're detailing the game, and then you can go back and you can almost breathe it and feel it and smell it. The pen brings you somewhere. The pen makes you actually gives you like that great memory of writing in it and thinking about it, and it brings you back to where you were. That pen is the connection to that book for you right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So where's the pen, Mark?
I don't have the pen. I don't have the pen. I don't have the bank. Now I'm gonna start spending money on things I used to have.
The ink probably dried out a little bit though. You probably have to.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. So this was your idea, Scott, and I think it's a great idea. So we put it out on Facebook to ask people for collections. Mark Mariniello, who has been following the show, I know because I follow him on Facebook. He basically posts his daily mail grab and things that come in the mail, whether it be autographs or yearbooks or bobbleheads or ticket stubs. And I always marveled at the stuff he. What's that?
How come he's not buying?
I don't know. We're going to find that out. We're going to find that out. So let's first bring Mark in because he's local here to New York. How you doing, Mark?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. So first off, we want to find out where your fandom comes from, where how you became a Met fan, and at what age did you start collecting?
Well, it goes back to 1973, 74. I went with 73. I'm sorry, with my dad and my uncle to the original Yankee Stadium for a game. I was 5 years old, and I saw the Yankees and the A's, and I fell in love with the game. I became a Met fan. Funny because all my family are all Yankee fans. So I was the black sheep of the family. So I became a Met fan in 75. I went with my dad to my first Mets game, June 21st of 75. I saw the Mets and the Reds. And the first thing he bought me was a Mr. Met cup, which I still have in my case. My first year of collecting was April of 1973. I went with my mom one Easter Sunday at the church. We went to our local deli to get my usual packs of the wacky packs, which back then I was a big fan of. And I saw this little packages of baseball cards, and they look really cool. So I asked my mom for a pack of cards, and she bought me some cards, and I opened the first pack, and I was hooked ever since.
1973?
Yeah.
So
What was the first card you saw, Mark? You remember in the pack?
Absolutely, AJ. A 1973 Tony Perez.
Okay.
Oh, not a bad card to get first. All right.
No,
let's now bring in a collector from from Canada, and we bring in Perry G. How you doing, Perry?
Hey guys, good, thank you.
All right, so why don't you tell us how you became an Expo fan and when you started collecting before we see both of your collections?
From birth, from my story is like my parents were Greek immigrants, right? And generally, when you came to Canada and you were an immigrant, hockey was the first thing that would attract you because soccer, big European sport and stuff like that. So it usually translates a little easier. My dad put me into baseball, and I automatically fell in love with the game, and hence the Montreal Expo. So it was an easy transition.
All right. So how do we want to do this? All right. We have two guys, huge collections. It's like, let's start with Perry. Perry, take us to, explain first of all where you keep all your stuff, and how you display your items.
My stuff is a bit organized chaos, I think. But I try to display, because I have a lot of stuff and I only have it in my basement. I try to put it, try to organize it as best I can. So let me switch over there, and I'll take you through a little bit of how do we do this. Let's see here.
Just bear with us. This is Facebook Live, the Sports Talk New York Facebook Live edition. Scott, if this goes badly, remember this was your idea. Okay.
I just thought, it was an opportunity just to have people share.
How come it's not switching? But here we go. Back
and
there we go.
all
Tommy,
right.
you guys see now?
Yeah, that's a Walker jersey.
Okay, so we got the entrance there. We have Pedro's 97 jersey from when he won the Cy Young and had the best season of any pitcher in the history of the Montreal Expos. And what did we do? What we did best, we traded his ass to the Red Sox for basically absolutely nothing. Carl Pavano. Larry
we had him
Walker.
too.
Pardon?
We had him too.
American Idol.
We got him first.
I think he pitched
So,
about for a short period of time. He got paid a lot of money. Kind of reminded me of Rick DiPietro.
It seemed like every contract year he was like pitching lights out, and then it was all over. So we have Larry Walker. Larry's first jersey he ever wore as a Montreal Expo was the number 55 in spring training for the West Palm Beach Expos. And this is his jersey from 1989, the Powder Blues, Hall of Famer. Over here, quickly, we have the only glove that Maurice Richard, for you hockey fans, that Maurice Richard ever wore, because he used to moonlight as a ball player back in the late 40s, because they never paid him anything. So, they had to play baseball just to make a couple of extra bucks. And one day he dove into the stands, rumor has it, broke his pinky, and the Montreal Canadiens said, "Okay, Maurice, your baseball career is over." Tim Raines. This is my Hall of Fame romance with Tim Raines. This jersey has, a lot of value to me because it was on display. I don't know if you could see that. It was on display in Cooperstown for the whole year when Tim got inaugurated. So this was the jersey that was actually on display throughout the year that Tim was elected in 2017.
And how did you obtain that?
This jersey?
Yeah.
Gee whiz. I think from an auction house back in this was one of my first ones. I don't remember which one, but this is rookie jersey 1981. So,
wow.
When they called me and asked me for it, it was I think every collector out there, their dream is to have something in Cooperstown. I wouldn't give it to them, but I said I will lend it to you for 1 year.
Now go back to the Larry Walker, the 89 one. That's his rookie. You didn't say that, but that would be his rookie jersey, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Not
that was
that
his
one.
rookie.
That
This is his pants are from 91. It's not a matching set, but the pants are from
Well,
91.
you can throw it out there.
Yeah, so in the Tim Raines thing, we have some gloves, we have some hats, we have some spikes, and so on.
He gave us some of his time.
No, wait. Check this out. This is insane. All right, I'm sorry. I was he's actually got Youppi.
So we have
Arnie, I had to bring you back in for this one because I'm sure you appreciate this. Right, you appreciate this more than anybody. This might be my favorite collectible. I mean, he's got great stuff, but who has a Youppi?
Is the mascot actually still in the suit though? That's my question.
No, there's nobody.
He rotted out.
In it. Yeah. So in 2004, one of the mascots, I still had the suit, and I was fortunate enough to buy it a few years ago. So, for me, it's one of my favorite pieces also because it's, Youppi. I think when you talk about the top 3 mascots in the history of baseball, you're talking about, I'll give the Philly Fanatic number 1, I'll give Youppi 2, and I'll give the Chicken 3rd. But I guess they're interchangeable for whatever. But Youppi is definitely top 3.
How about Mr. Met?
Gee whiz. We had a guy like that too as our first mascot, Suki, and we quickly threw him out because that's a baseball on a guy's head, on a body. Don't get me started.
All right. What exactly is Youppi though?
What is it?
Youppi,
And can you get
Youppi was modeled after Rusty Staub. The ground around.
at least? Excuse me, Perry. At least our mascot wears pants. Okay.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, ours is a little bottom heavy. That's the problem. So that's Youppi. And I have my Royals stuff, which is dear to me. It's the only team. Obviously, I collect, like only the Expos, and but I have a bit of Montreal Royals stuff, which is very hard to get because in the game used thing. This is a 1938 jersey that Hod Lisenby wore. It's worth checking him out on Wikipedia. It's really a cool story. He was never a great pitcher, but he had a great year against Murderers Row in 1927 against the Yankees. He pitched for the Washington Nationals that year. So anyway, a good story for Wikipedia fans. This is another jersey from 1955.
Wait a minute. I have to ask you this because I'm assuming this is Oil Cam Boyd's wife because that's the boy that came to my mind that played for the Expos. You have any Oil Cam Boyd Expo memorabilia?
You know what? He's a tough jersey to find, honestly. No, I don't have. I have his bat.
You have to ask Karen.
Yeah, I have his bat, but I do not.
All right,
have
so
his jersey.
All right, so you have his bat. All right,
Yeah.
That's great.
And the can knows I love him too. He's a great guy. Tommy Lasorda, we have his cap and his cleats.
Oh, that's great.
Which
That's
is kind of
great.
cool. He was the all-time winningest pitcher in Royals history. This is a bat, the 1946 team signed bat. The bat belonged to Herman Franks, who I believe was our catcher back then.
He was also a manager for the San Francisco Giants.
Was he really? Same guy?
Yep,
Oh, there you
Yep.
go. I didn't know that.
I believe 1969
scoreboard.
actually.
This is cool.
That's a scoreboard.
Where's that scoreboard?
It was in Dumouriez. It was in Delorier Stadium, Delorier Grounds, which was the home of the Royals. And this has been refurbished. It was on display at the McCord Museum, which is a museum here in Montreal. And the person who had loaned it to them decided to sell it after. My wife was really happy when this came home. I have this in the basement too. I have a Royals jacket also over here.
So Perry, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
How much do you charge people when they come to your house?
You guys are lucky. I usually don't let people in.
Well, that's the question. You mentioned your wife. How
Yeah.
How does she feel about you taking up so much space in the house for what is basically your personal museum?
She gave me the basement, and I used to try to sneak some pieces upstairs and try to invade like the living room or the top floor and stuff, but it usually didn't fly very well. So I'm relegated to the basement, and I should be happy because a lot of women wouldn't put up with my crap. So I'm very fortunate. In that regard,
So, Scott, let me ask you a question. You have many people come into your store, and people buy things from you. How often do you get to go and see someone's collection? So, like, Perry could buy something from you off the internet, and you would have no idea where that particular item is going. When you see something like this, what does it make you think about some of your customers and what they have going on at home?
I love this. This is what collecting is about. I mean, this is the when you take your passion, and you have historical things like that from, the Montreal Royals. I mean, Jackie Robinson coming up. I mean, I had some of the original programs also, but obviously he's collecting and he's focused on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
His team. I mean, this is nothing short of a museum. I mean, he's focused on what he loves. It's amazing because I always love the Expo's history too, and the colors, and I love that blue jersey. I love that Range jerseys. They're beautiful. Those, I just love that. It reminds you of the Centennial, right? Right. Doesn't it remind you of Centennial in 1976 when they did that? Right? Is that a Centennial jersey?
No, this is the 82 with the All-Star patch,
that logo looks like that.
Yeah.
The Expo, the colors.
Right.
I mean, Andre Dawson and Gary Carter and the Rock Reigns.
Well, wait. So now, obviously, I'm older. He's got a corner. Perry, can you walk us over to the 1969 corner?
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Don't trip over the bats.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Come on.
All right,
So
so
these are all
so
flannels
those
from 69 to 72.
incredible. So we're
That's not
talking Mac
Drysdale.
Jones.
Where is it?
That's Drysdale.
He
What do you
was
mean?
a roving pitching instructor for us in 1970.
So that's a Don Drysdale Montreal Expo jersey. Wow.
Uniform, yeah.
That's-
which one? Where is it?
Right here.
33.
Wow.
53, right.
All right.
He wore the patch. We only wore this patch in 69, of course, like everybody else, but they gave him this uniform in 1970.
That's Don
I have his belt
Drysdale.
over here.
So,
Yep.
Perry,
Yeah.
looking at all these amazing things.
His
Now,
his
when
estate,
Mark-
they sold everything a few years back on SCP auction, so that was really cool. I was happy to be able to get the Royals and some of the Royal stuff and his Expo stuff. So that's kind of
Well,
cool.
I mean, do me a favor. I know you don't like to talk about value, but we're going to ask you what you. I'm not going to ask you what you pay. I'm going to give me an idea what you think the value of it is today.
Drysdale?
Yeah, that Drysdale. Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I saw that there were a couple. I don't know. It's probably between in US maybe three to four.
That's it.
Yeah.
I-
You remember, this is not his Dodger stuff or anything like that. So,
So what?
But it's probably more rare.
yeah, I know, but people like playing guys that like you guys probably know better than I do that what a Drysdale gamer go for from the Dodgers there. That's probably insane money, no?
Right. Well, Brooklyn Dodger 57. He came up in.
Yeah.
What did he come up?
Oh, there you go.
56,
Yeah,
57?
so imagine that's totally ridiculous. So when somebody goes to pitching, it's a different story, So let me go to the powder blues.
Perry, while you're going
Those
to
are
ask you
really,
a
really
question,
cool. The other
Yes,
flannels we had.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Perry,
you can hear you.
looking
Perry,
at all the things
Yes.
that you have. When Mark talks about his collection of things, it's things he really lived and
These
existed.
are the powder
games
the
he
other,
stayed to.
blue flannels. These were from the 69 to 72 also.
Yeah.
John
Perry,
Bucknell, did he play for the Mets?
no, he didn't.
No.
But Perry, can you hear AJ? AJ had a question for you. AJ, go ahead.
Here, AJ.
Perry, looking at all these things you have, and when Mark
I can't
talks
hear
about
you.
things that he has in his collection, it's things he lived and experienced from Mets there. Obviously, there are a lot of things you have in your collection you didn't experience, the Montreal Royals, things like that. What made you decide to expand from things that were from
Now I don't hear
your
anything.
lifetime's things you'd seen to actually become
He doesn't.
a collector
AJ,
of
he doesn't hear you.
memorabilia?
All right. AJ, he didn't hear you, so I'm going to relay. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I'm going to relay the question to you. So, Perry, what he's saying is like when I used to collect it with things like I used to experience. So it would be stuff from the Mets when I went to, and he wants to know what made you expand to the Royals. Obviously, you're not old enough to have gone
Yeah.
to Royals games. Why did you expand? What made you expand the collection to include Royals stuff?
That's a great question. I guess history, because you soon discover that without I guess the Jackie Robinson connection was the first thing that got me really into it, because the story was amazing. If if it wasn't for Montreal, who knows how that would have played out? We welcomed Jackie when nobody else wanted to. He was airdropped into Montreal because we were the States was a little bit of a rocky road when it came to race and stuff, and he never had that problem here in Montreal. So I guess it started with that story, the Jackie Robinson story, and then when you hear all the great Brooklyn Dodgers guys who came through Montreal, it's really crazy, like Lasorda, Drysdale, and who else am I thinking? The catcher, Brooklyn Dodgers catcher,
Campanella.
Campanella. There you go. So there were so many guys, so. Really cool, Jean-Pierre Roy, who was a kid from Chez Nous, so that's it's I guess that's the connection over there with the great history of Jackie Robinson.
I mean, Mark. I mean, that would be like asking somebody who's a Yankee fan that grew up in the late '60s or the '70s, why you collect Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. It's the historical aspect of your team. You eventually you collect what you collect now, but don't you want to go back and get the original 1962 loser Mets and have all those guys together on a baseball and get the first program?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so Perry, you have all these bats as well. So
Yeah.
it's just nuts. It's amazing. It
Do you
truly
play-
is
do you play games
amazing.
with that? Like, how do you walk through the bats without breaking your ankles and get across the other side of the room?
Yeah, did you notice how I was
Yeah,
tap
almost
dancing
like
there?
hot coals.
I
It's
almost
like
feel like a
hot-
log roller. You know those guys who like dance on the logs?
Yeah, you should play games, and
So-
whoever gets the Tim Raines rookie jersey. he gets
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
So now we also pass by it, but by your 69 jerseys underneath it, it appears that that's a team photo. Sal pointed out as well. Is that an autographed team photo, or is it just a team photo of
No,
the
it's just a
69,
team
the
photo,
original?
which is- yeah, I have the original photo, which is kind of cool. So I was able to blow it up and and not lose any of its quality. So that's pretty cool. I have the original negative. So this one is from the end of '69. So it doesn't have Maury Wills. And who else did we get rid of? Mudcat Grant. So, but it has Steve Renko, and it has Claude Raymond.
Okay. Now, is that a seat from Jarry?
Yes.
Is that a park, as you guys call it, Park Jarry? But we call it the Jarry Park. So that's
it.
right. So interesting question from Sal. What is your absolute favorite piece, and what would you consider your oddest or rarest piece?
Gee whiz. That's always this, people ask that question. It's like saying which one of your sons you like better. I like my Yuppie. I like my Gary Carter.
Please don't. Oh, all right. The glove. Yeah. Oh, right. Why don't you show them? Yeah, we didn't even do that.
That's the gold glove?
You have, it's Carter's
His
gold glove.
last
And
gold
you
glove,
also,
1982.
and you have a Dawson as well, right?
Where's where's the travel bag signed with the original tags from his last All-Star game? You have that?
Oh, excuse me. I know where, Scott. By the way, I know where you got that bag.
From you.
The backstory.
Yeah.
He won't
I have
offer
travel
more than
bags.
$300 for him.
Wow.
I have a lot of travel bags.
So it's really
You
not
still
worth-
have
That's a
that?
great story.
You haven't sold that yet?
No, things aren't easy to sell. He won't even buy it from me.
It's been on sale for 10 years. He's going to get rid of it.
No,
So you see
not
this
10.
guy-
I sold to him 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
No,
When
it's
I
more than
moved.
5, Mark.
So
Was
you
it?
see this suitcase? Quick story. So I don't know if you
Okay.
can see. Gary left 1981 when the strike happened. You could see I have a nice picture of him with the suitcase. I did a display actually when the Mets, the first team that did the exhibition games in Montreal was the Mets Blue Jays back in 2014 when we started hosting exhibition games. So what happened then was they asked me to do a little display in the Olympic Stadium, and that night they were honoring Gary Carter. So Sandy Carter and her daughter Kimmy Carter were there. So I had the suitcase with me. So they passed by, and Kimmy goes, "Oh my God, that's Dad's suitcase." I go, "Oh my God!" And of course, I felt like a 2-year-old child. I was, yes it is, yes it is. She goes, "Do you mind me asking? Was there anything inside when you bought it?" I go, "I don't know the combination. I didn't want to break it. I shook it. I hear some rattling, and that's about it." And she goes, "Do you mind? Dad had a terrible memory." She comes up to the suitcase, 8. Bam. I swear to God, it was like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I said, hallelujah, angels and whatever. And there was nothing inside the suitcase. It was the belt that was rattling around. But that's one of my favorite stories.
That's great. Now, another item, which is fairly new, but for me, I mean, I love your Yuppie, but you actually have, when Gary passed away, the Montreal Canadiens in the pregame warm-ups all of them wore a number 8 Montreal Canadiens jersey with Carter on the back, and you have one of those jerseys. As he's tripping over his bats, you can hear that.
I made it through.
Watch Yubi.
Yeah. He's the gatekeeper. These are turnstiles, by the way.
Yeah, I want to see the turnstile. Show me.
Yeah. This is a
Can I show
turnstile, and
mine?
this is a ticket,
Can I show
like where
mine?
you put the tickets in.
Well, that's where they put the tickets in.
Oh, this Olympic Stadium seat, by the way. The ugly yellow ones that everybody remembers.
Yeah.
Remember that? And it makes the nice noise. Because there were so many empty seats at the end, everybody was doing that. Here's the Gary Carter jersey.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this is the legends of the Canadians who signed it, and on the other side it's the current team. In 2012 it was, right?
Can you read all the names that signed it? Because I love that French. I'll say Guy Lafleur, and you'll say it's so different than I did.
So you see Guy Lafleur, you see Henri Charles, you see Jean Béliveau, you see Régent Houle, And
Rajon, ooh, I love.
Rajon
But
Mood.
you know what we have?
I left my glasses
You know,
upstairs. Yvan Cornouaille.
No, that's too plain. You didn't say that fancy enough.
Yvan
Yeah,
Cornouaille.
yeah, but you know what? We've been speaking to him for like 12 minutes, and I haven't not won A yet. A?
No, we don't do that.
That's more. Is that more Toronto?
Yeah, that's more Toronto. Yeah,
How do you say
we're a little more.
Patrick Roy?
We're a little more cultured in Montreal.
Yeah, Marquise Grissom.
Yeah.
Look at this. So how many jerseys do you have total?
Over 200. Yeah, I got over 200. This is Rusty's jersey from '71. I bought that when he sold his collection, when he was still alive. This is kind of cool. This is 1972, which of course we traded him to the Mets in spring training, so he never wore it. That's his pants too, so it's a full uniform. And this is his jersey in '79 when he came back.
What size waist was he? Was this before he?
Oh, back in the day. What does it say there? Can you see that?
1072.
So he had a nice thin waist. No, is that 24?
No, it can't be.
Not a chance.
I think that's two. No, I think it's 2/4. I think it's 2 of 4 uniforms, probably. Right?
Probably. I don't know where. I don't even know where it says the waist then. Back then, did they?
So here's an interesting question. Do you have a Rogi Duchat microphone?
Oh, who?
The national anthem singer.
Roger Doucette.
Yeah.
He was the Montreal Canadiens national anthem singer.
Well, you have the jersey. Want to know if you have his microphone?
No, that would have been cool. But I do have a plaque that he gave Gary Carter.
All right. No Tim Hortons memorabilia. Any Tim Hortons giveaways?
No, that's Ontario. This is Quebec. So we got
Okay.
Pete Rose. This is a full uniform from Pete,
Oh,
wow.
love it.
including the bat, which is really cool. I think this is the last bat he ever wore that he ever used in Montreal. It's dated to 2 days before the Reds trade, and
Did he
gave it
sign?
to-
Did he sign the jersey?
Yeah, it's signed. Yeah,
Oh, that's a rare autograph.
yeah. That's,
Well, it didn't say Hit King underneath, so that makes it a little rarer.
there you go. There you go. Or number of hits. Yeah, we didn't get that.
Or one of his famous sayings.
But check out like where the Expo is the best. Look at these players: Tony Perez, Ken Singleton,
Ken
the
Singleton.
Big Cat. Yeah, Wallach. Singleton. This is a great jersey. 1972. He was allergic to flannel, so he was the first one to ever get the polyester blend that they wore from '73 on, because he was allergic to the flannel that he was given in 1972. Kind
He
of
came from the Mets, right? What was the trademark? Ken Singleton trade in '71 to '72, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, we
Singleton, Foley, right,
Yeah, who they?
Jorgie, no?
and Mike Jorgensen.
George
The three of them.
Jorgensen,
Right. Mike
Yeah.
Jorgensen for the 3, right?
Yeah, that was probably the first. Well, Singleton was good. So was Torres, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was awesome for us. And then we gave all those guys away for nothing for McAnally. You
Dave
remember that?
McAnally. Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
To the Orioles, right? But
Yeah.
listen, I mean, we
Yeah.
made
That
a
was a Rusty
mistake,
trade. So
and then
I want to know where your Ellis Valentine helmet with the crossbar is. You know.
Oh, I wish.
there's an Ellis Valentine jersey right there.
Yeah, this is jersey and his cap. I wish I had that helmet with
He was an
the
underdog,
jaws
you
there
know,
when they.
People
Yeah,
don't
after
talk
they
about
threw
Ellis
at his
Valentine.
face.
Don't hear his name. Yeah, never hear it.
Who
But
that?
he had that helmet. That helmet. Remember that?
When he got
Yeah.
hit with the pitch, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
change his
when
whole career.
His career was over. After that shot to the face, it was all over.
Where's your
Right.
Al Alva? Do you have an Al Alva?
Yeah, of course I have it all over. Where's all over?
He's got scoop. He's got
Where do you
everything.
not have Scoop? Where are you, Scoop? Well, he's here somewhere.
You had a piece of artwork I saw on the wall before with Scoop, but so wait. The key is, the guys we remember. So let's see. Who got the first win? Wait, so do you have a Dan McGinn or who got the first win for the? I know McGinn hit the home run
The first
against
home run in the
Seaver.
history of the Montreal Expos, and the first win at the Puck Jarry. Number 25, Dan McGinn.
Dan McGinn, and he also hit a home run in opening day for them against Tom Seaver. Wow! So you have a Dan McGinn. Wow, that's fairly
that's a collector. That's
right.
obscure.
You have Coco LeBoy and Mac Jones also.
Yeah.
You ever run- you
No,
ever run-
Mac Jones. There's a tough one.
Yeah, Mac
I've
Jones.
never seen a Mac Jones.
You ever Ron
honestly.
LaFleur?
Really?
But
Yeah, Ron LaFleur's right here, actually.
You do?
I have the base of
Wow.
the helmet he used when he stole number 97.
You have it? Didn't he go to jail, Ron LaFleur, also?
Yeah, poor guy.
Well, he was discovered in jail.
that was before. That was
Right,
that
it
was
was
before
discovered
this-
by Billy Martin.
Yeah.
correct.
So how about it? What do you have from John Bocabella?
Yeah,
we,
but
we
I
had,
don't know if you can
we
hear-
went through
oh.
Bocabella, yeah. He's
Oh,
down
yeah,
there. I
okay.
don't know if you can see him, number 12. His 1969 jersey, too, the powder blue.
You have
Don't
a
make
Del
me
Unser?
dance
Incredible.
lots again, I beg you.
You have a Del Unser?
Who?
Del Unser or Don Hahn. Del Unser and Don Hahn.
No Don Hahn. And Del Unser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve, how about Steve Renko?
Yeah, Ringo's in the
Unser
back
was-
there, too.
You got Renko also. Wow, it's crazy. So you probably, I mean, is there a Montreal Expos Hall of Fame exhibit? You probably have more things than. I mean, you have to be the number one Montreal Expo collector in the world. I would
Yeah,
assume.
nobody's dumb enough to do this. Yeah, for sure.
So here's.
That's Jorgensen, by the way.
Oh, here's a good. Here we go. Someone's asking you if you have any Ron Swoboda Montreal Expo items.
No, he was a Met, right?
He was a Met and a Yankee.
Was he really? No Ron
Yeah.
Swoboda, no. A
Yankee in 72.
Nice.
heck of a lot of Gary Carter, but no Ron Swoboda.
So like I'm you know. All right. So here's a question, AJ. He can hear you. So why don't you ask him the question about that you and I were speaking about?
Which question?
About about the display and is it for him? Is it for people to come?
Well, yeah. The quick
forgot already?
question is: do you have this, for you to enjoy in your basement, or do you want people to come and share your collection with them? Other than what we're doing now with a video tour, when people come to your house and say, "Come downstairs and see my collection," people come just because of the collection, or is this something for you to enjoy by yourself?
No, it's just something really for me. I share it on Facebook and on Twitter and stuff like that. And but yeah, it's a private thing. My wife would then really throw me out if I had random strangers coming through the house. Yeah. But my dream would be ideally when we do get the Expos back, or when we split the season with Tampa, whichever comes first. I'd love to have a piece of the ballpark just to have a display and have people come in and enjoy the history of the Expos. That would be my like a kind of dream of mine.
Here's another question. Do you have children?
Absolutely.
All right. I
Yes,
would
why?
imagine. I mean, right. Do you have this stuff relegated in your will? Are they as into it as you are? And then
Nobody's doing it like I am. No, my oldest son shows more of an interest. He likes the stuff, whatever, and because of him, I unfortunately collect also Vlad Jr. now. This is the jersey he wore when he hit the exhibition home run. This is the first Quebec-born player to ever hit a home run at the Olympic Stadium. The only Quebec-born player.
So now we've branched out to Toronto, I see, as well. All right.
No. We branched out to the Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Okay. Before we let you go, here's a question, and it might be a little too personal. You might not want to get into it. Do you have a budget number yearly for what you're going to spend on your collection? Because I mean, I can't even fathom the amount of. I know people, get crazy over their husbands going to fantasy camp every year for $5,000. I can't even imagine what your number that you've spent on this is. Do you set aside an amount every year that you're going to add to your collection? And do you ever sell off items because you want something different? Do you rotate your collection at all?
You let me get back to you. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. It's fortunately, seriously, that I've gotten to the point where there's not a lot of pieces that I see that really I need. I was really into that Pedro Martinez. His game used glove came up in the same auction as that Mike Trout card for Golden Auctions, and I don't know, they just went for a little too much. I bowed out at a certain point, and that's something that doesn't come around often. So it's stuff like that I really want. It's the stuff that does not come around that often. I like 10 years ago, I saw Mike Marshall. I didn't jump on it, and I regret it to this day because I never saw another one.
So, Oil Can Boyd's wife is talking about the
yeah.
Shields mark. He's christened Tim
Yeah,
Raines, Denny Martinez. There's a
Those
lot
are
of good
all-
players.
Absolutely, they all played together.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great
So-
times. And Dennis is. We run a foundation for the Montreal Children's Hospital, and he helps us out. He's a great guy, and I miss him.
All right, Perry, listen, we really appreciate you sharing this with us.
Cool.
Now you're going to cost me money because I'm definitely going to search the internet because now I need one of those Gary Carter Montreal Canadiens jerseys for sure. There's no
those are
question.
cool.
I desperately need that.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, I do need that. And listen, I can authenticate that bag. I know where it came from. It's legit. It was mine.
I don't doubt it.
Perry and I are gonna have to go at it a little bit more. He kind of poo-pooed with the bark in this morning.
All right, Perry. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
All right, all right. Great.
Have a good
Great
one.
stuff from Perry. And let's move on. And this is obviously not a competition. We're bringing in Mark. That is a very difficult act to follow.
you
Sal's
follow that?
telling me. Yeah, I don't even try. So don't even worry about it. But I know you take great joy in going to the mail every day, and so tell us a little bit about how you go about increasing your collection. What specific items you look for, and then we'll take a walk around and you can show some of your items.
Well, Mark, I look for things that I remember as a kid in the mid 70s to 82 was my heyday of Met fandom. Score books, yearbooks, autograph balls, signage from Shea Stadium, things that I remember as a kid going to Shea. I'm not really in it for the money. It's just for the memories I have in my heart. And I always think of my dad when I buy something from the 70s because he brought me to my first game. Cool thing I found on eBay was a program from the first game I ever went to with him at Shea. It was cool because he brought back the memories of him, which is really cool. I have a budget I follow, more or less. More or less. I want to. Now I'm moving. That's why it's a mess here. I'm moving to a new house, so I have stuff in boxes. So it's really hard to display stuff. But I have stuff that I'm going to show you guys that I'm really happy with.
Okay. So, and in the new house, do you have a room dedicated that you're going to be setting everything up in?
Absolutely. Downstairs basement.
Downstairs basement. All right. So why don't you walk us through and show us some of your stuff? And go ahead, Mark. What?
Well, I have my 1960s showcase. I'll turn the phone here. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, we can see. I can see the tumblers for sure, which we spoke about a couple of weeks ago. I can see 1962
program. And this Mets plastic cup is the first thing my dad.
So lower it a little bit down so we can see it.
Right here.
There you go. That's a little better. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the 50
and
cent
to the left.
cup. Oh, how's that?
Down and to the left. That's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, this is the Mets cup that my dad got me at my first game.
What'd you drink out of?
Actually, Scott, I had this all through my youth, high school, and I took the cup to college. I had my pens in the cup.
So it was soda to beer.
Absolutely, brother. Scotch.
But so that's the cup from your first game. So that's
yes, sir.
Wow.
sir.
And
Right
you had
there.
the foresight to take that home with you and keep it, and that's moved from your house growing up to your college. Wow, that's pretty
Does it-
impressive.
Does it have
Absolutely.
any holes in it?
No, it's just a cup. Okay, that's all.
Wow.
You don't have the original wooden spoon and the Breyers ice cream that you had that day, do you?
No, no, I don't. Got. Hey, if you go down
All right.
to shelf number, I'm sorry, down to shelf number
Okay.
2, you have the popcorn
Megaphone.
megaphones from the old Polo grounds, and I know you see the baseball on top
Right.
of one of them.
Yes.
That's what they threw out at the first parade they threw for the Mets before the first game they ever played. They threw those baseballs out to the fans, which is cool.
Does it say anything on it? Does it have any writing or?
Yeah, see, Mark, it's a Rheingold.
Got to lower it. Oh, okay.
Rheingold, that's-
Rheingold. Dry.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the TV.
And I have the original Mr. Met doll.
She's gorgeous.
Mr. Met. Lady Met, Mr. Met.
She blows. She blows Yuppie away.
Hey, there you go. Okay. And I have the original Mr. Met bobblehead from 1962. Right there.
That's all ceramic, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I found this on eBay. Let me see it. It's the prayer card from the funeral for Gil Hodges. Let me see it or not. Right there.
You got to go to the right a little bit. No, the left, I guess. No, you were going the right way.
Wait, what?
No, the other way.
Like that.
A little more.
Got a special hat.
No, the other way, Mark.
This way.
No.
Yeah, that's good. We got
Right
part
there.
of it.
The box.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's wow.
But yeah, maybe that's Subway hat.
Okay. What else you got there, Mark?
Okay. Let's go to my other stuff here. It's a quicker.
Okay.
I have a framed All-Star Game program and stub from the All-Star Game at Shea
That was
in
64.
64. Right.
Right.
That framed.
That's cool.
And this is my favorite piece. It's a 1962 themed piece. I have a program, the yearbook, the media guide, stub, and schedule.
I have that schedule. That's pretty interesting. So when you do a piece like this, Mark, do you collect?
Right.
Do you start collecting? Like you picked up a schedule, then you got the program, and then once you have enough items, you lay it out and you get it framed. Is that something you try and piece together?
Right. What I do is I try to get pieces for a theme piece. I have, which I enjoy, from 62, 63, the All-Star Games, prominent people in the history of the Mets. We go to our next piece, the autograph cut of Mrs. Payson. If you see that, and her picture, right there. And if you see that,
You have anything Bill Shea?
I do. Scoot over here.
What do you have? Okay.
Yeah, I have a cut autograph of Bill Shea and a picture of Shea Stadium. Here.
So it's interesting, Scott, because back in the day, people didn't have the 8x. Like if you went to a card show, like now there's all the 8x10s and different pictures. There's like 30 pictures on a table, and you can pick one and get it signed by the athlete. Back in the day, kids would you hand a piece of paper to somebody and get it autographed. But this is a different way, and you explain that the way you display it, and you put the picture of Shea Stadium.
Is that logo? Is that a coaster? Is that a coaster?
This actually is a felt Met piece. It's a felt, Scott.
Okay. So it's like a patch.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. This actually is the first ticket stub, first game ever at Shea Stadium, April 17th, of '64.
Did they play the
Got that
Pirates?
stuff there. Yeah. Yep. I have the program somewhere framed.
Great program. I had.
Um,
I sold it.
oh boy.
AJ, you know this.
And-
I hope
yeah.
you know this. Who got the first hit in that game at Shea Stadium? Former guest
Oh,
of
boy.
Sports Talk New York.
Okay,
Oh my.
I'm drawing
my
a
God.
line.
For the Mets, for the
The
Mets,
Mets is
the-
cool.
They play the
Yeah,
Pirates.
first Mets hit. Yeah, it was the first Met hit.
the first Met hit.
Oh my God. I drew a blank.
Ed Kramer.
Tim Harkness. Tim
Okay.
Harkness.
Oh, gee. Good grief.
I was at the second game ever played at Shea Stadium, not the first. The Mets were playing the Pirates in a 3-game series in April. I remember sitting like the next to last row of the upper deck.
I hope I remember that correctly. But it was also Harkness came on and was telling us about, they were hearing about all the floods in the bathrooms. It was a disaster that first game,
Yeah.
actually.
Mark.
Well,
All right, so-
Well, Mark, this is just a question.
Yeah.
When you have
Sure.
whoever framed your stuff, and by the way, I do a lot of framing. Whoever framed your stuff, are you cognizant of making sure they're not gluing it to a backing board and they use like plastic
Oh.
on it?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the guy that I use is very good.
Okay. Just want to make sure he's not
sure.
gluing it or,
Oh no.
fix it.
So explain that, Scott. Explain why that's important. Actually, that's a great
Because,
point.
there's a lot of times people frame things and they want to see the aesthetic, or they'll bring it to someone and if someone doesn't understand the value of it or care. I've seen it happen, countless times when people overpaid for framing and have brought it to frame shops that really don't pay attention to what they're framing. And, it's like if you took a baseball card and you glued it to a backing board and then you took it out, you had a Mickey Mantle rookie card and you decide you want to frame it and you glued it to the back of a backing board or, to a foam board, whatever. And now you've got, a piece that's been, screwed up, because of paper collectibles are all based on condition we've spoken about, right? So you want to take that program that's in there. You actually want to, I want to float it. And I want to float it with what's like plastic tabs on the corners. So
Right,
if you want to
right.
glue down the plastic tabs that would be in the corners, then you can do whatever you want with them because they're actually protecting it. You can either cut plastic, almost like a penny sleeve. That's what I
Right,
do
right.
to protect the corners. Some people do it. So if you mat it in, you want it to be matted and look, aesthetically pleasing without it. You don't know. You
Right.
can use no stick tape, like a special tape, but even that tape can cause residue marks on the back of an original
Right.
program or something like that. It says it comes off, but if it leaves a sticky anything, it can
Right.
greatly affect the value. So you got to be really careful with it if you care.
Sure.
So Mark, what's that record in the lower right-hand corner of this piece?
Okay, this is the original Meet the Mets, 45.
Just saw one of those.
Yeah, I have the record. I have the
Undervalued.
schedule. Yes, and I have
What was
the.
What's on the flip side of Meet the Mets?
Go home and
You stink.
stay with your kitties. Stay with your wife. You weren't guaranteed
And I have-
at the time of your life.
And I have the sleeve, the record,
Oh, that's a record, right? Okay.
right? And I have the 63 program,
That's a good one.
stub, and yearbook.
Do you have any Jane Jarvis items?
I do. I have an autographed cut, which is in one of my boxes. I can't find.
It's all right.
Somewhere.
Jane, that's as rare as a Yuppie, I guess. That's a real
That's right.
collector if you have a Jane Jarvis item.
Do you have original Rheingold girl outfit from 1962?
No, I don't. No. But I do have an autographed program from the original Mr. Met.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you see it?
Oh,
No, that was the clean version before he gave the finger, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's him.
Him and Jack McDowell.
Yeah.
And I'll show you a couple more things. I have an autographed jersey of my all-time favorite player, Felix
Jack McDowell?
Meon.
Felix Meon.
Yeah,
You
he's
don't
the man
have
for
that?
me.
His bat had probably pine tar up to his. Remember he choked up?
Yeah.
I actually have a game used cap and bat from him.
That's awesome.
Now, why is Felix your favorite player?
The 1976 Topps card, Mark,
Yep, it's the yellow.
where he
The yellow. And,
Yeah, we had when he showed him how he held the bat, choked up on it.
Right.
I said that guy's pretty cool. So from then he was my guy. Oh, Mian, Crane Pool, Buddy Harrelson, also liked him.
Nice.
how about John Milner, the Hammer?
I just got a signed card of him in the mail. I'm putting together a piece from 1974 Topps team set.
Oh, signed by the Mets team set.
Yeah. The hardest guy, Scott. That guy, the hardest card was Bob Miller,
Bob Miller.
because he didn't sign at all, and he's passed away.
Well, then that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
And show you, this is I bought this at a show 2 years ago.
78.
It's a Topps 76 on sheet, top sheet.
Uncut. Yeah.
That's Bonds traded right there, the Angels, right? I love the Gamble.
Yes.
Look at the throw on Gamble on that trade.
Oscar Gamble. Yeah.
And he couldn't even wear a hat. Is that
Go down.
Ed Goodson?
This
Was that Ed Goodson? I can remember everybody. That's Ed Goodson.
Right.
Wait, hold on. No, that's Morgan.
Yeah,
That's
the
Bill
Gamble.
Melton. That's Gamble. I can tell you by blurriness who these guys are. 'Cause I just know who they are. That's Joe Morgan.
This Forsh and I
That's
think
Ed Goodson.
Carter.
That's Ed Goodson right there, right? From a distance?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Crazy.
I can tell
All
you.
right, so Mark, I'm going to ask you the same question that AJ.
Sure.
Let's bring AJ in, and AJ, ask him the same question about the display. And wait, AJ, you there? Oh, AJ, having trouble with AJ.
So I'm unmuted
There
now.
you go.
So, Mark, question I asked Perry. You obviously take a lot of care with a lot of things, collection. You frame some things. You have all these things just for you, or do you want to have people see what you have? You show it off. You put it in a place when people come over. They come over for dinner at your house. Come on downstairs and see my collection. Which is more for it? You get joy in showing it off, or just in seeing it for yourself?
Well, AJ, the whole joy of having something like this is to show your friends and fellow fans. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of crap in a box somewhere. I love showing this off to my friends and family. See, now it's tough because I'm moving, like I said. But in my new house, I'll have cases up and everything I have framed up. So yeah, it's the joy of collecting and the joy of sharing it.
What do people say when they come, when they were able to do it?
One second, AJ. Mark, you can turn around to show your face now.
Oh,
if you
okay.
can.
I'm sorry. Yep.
There you go. Sorry.
So,
Go ahead, AJ.
Yep.
when people come to your house, and maybe some they just come from dinner, your wife's invited them over, they don't know if they're getting in for, and you take them downstairs and show them this. What is the thing that they get most excited about? Which of your pieces of memorabilia?
Probably I have a piece of it. I'll show you. It's a Bob Murphy, Nelson, and Kiner piece I had made up. For guys that of a certain age, like me and Mark and Scott, those guys are the best. Ralph Kiner, Bob Murphy, Tim Nelson, they were the best. I'll have that displayed right as you walk downstairs.
Do you have the?
Now, have you also? Go ahead, Scott.
I was gonna say you have the.
What you have to get if you're into, the Ralph Kiner, Bob Murphy, Lindsey Nelson. Here's my challenge. You have to find a Lindsey Nelson game-worn sport coat
jacket. It's funny. I was at the Hall of Fame, and they have his jacket displayed in the Hall of Fame ring. And for a second, I looked at my girlfriend. I said, "It'd be cool if I had this." And she said, "Don't even think about taking it." I had a second. I was going to take it. I was going to take it.
Oh boy.
Theft. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Glad you didn't.
Your question. Do you know where he bought those sports jackets?
I have no idea. Probably the same place that Jim Brockmeyer bought his.
At Marsh's in Huntington.
In Hunting, really
Really?
interesting. So,
Wow.
you know what? There probably is some thrift store somewhere these days for sure. So my question, Mark, was, you're moving. You know that you're displaying it. Have you almost drawn out how you're going to display everything? I mean, you looked at Perry's collection and he had a corner for the 69 flannels. He had certain areas dedicated. Do you already foresee what that room is going to look like?
Oh, sure. I'll have a section from the earlier Mets, this 73 team, the 69 team, the 86 team. Usually I'll put it by decades.
Great.
All
right, Mark.
decades.
You have this
Hold
hat?
on.
Oh, I do. Hold on a second, Scotty. Hold on. I actually have all of the
Straw hat giveaway.
See 'em? Yeah, the straw hats. Right?
Does it have on the side? You have the little man.
Yep.
Crazy.
Now, does yours have the ticket for when they clinched?
No, I don't know. It's funny for Mark. My ultimate goal is to have a piece of the old KINER'S corner set.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, they made a repro that the BAT, the baseball assistants team, used because Ralph used to always be there. They had a fake set. Interestingly enough, the actual set was also used in the movie Bang the Drum Slowly. You can see the Robert De Niro singing in front of the KINER'S corner set, which is interesting. Mark, we appreciate you sharing your collection with us. It's great stuff, and I'm glad Scott came up with this idea. And anyone that's watching, you can inbox me. We'd like to see other collections as well. So, Mark, good luck on the move. And when it's all set up, we'd like to see it again. Oh, wait. He's got another. Do you have this? Got this Subway Series hat?
Yeah, and it moves. And it goes around and around when it works. And the Subways.
Not yet, Scott.
Well, I give
all right. Well,
I give it to you as a moving gift.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
All right, Mark, be good. Mark Mariniello, great New York Met collector. So, Scott, this was your idea, and it was a great idea. When you see that, does it give you a little greater appreciation of the people? I know you value your customers more than anybody else in the world, but when you see those actual collections, does it make you even more as connected as you are? Does that connect you even more to the collector?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's where that's where it all. That's why it's done. Those are people that really are passionate and do it because they love it. They especially Mark. Nothing to take away from Perry, but we're in a New York marketplace. So we're a little more connected to that than I would say the Expos. I mean, there's a Brooklyn connection to that, so that's nice. But that Met and he's a different collector. It's a different level, but it's
right.
that infancy, it's that basic connection that he's doing. That is, you could see it, feel the emotion in Mark's voice, the way that you remembered with your father, that he could have, a minute later he could have been in tears thinking about his father, why he collected and whatever. You could feel
and that cup is that connection.
That cup that transpired, and he brought it to college. I mean, it's almost like a kid having his teddy bear and holding it close to him, that he wanted to bring it with him to college because there's a connection that you have, that he's taking his father with him where he goes. There's a deeper meaning behind what he collects because it's bringing him to that connection with his father. The same way that you got emotional when you remember back to going to a game with your father, and if he's not here anymore, it's your love that was given to you because you wanted to be like your father. You looked up to your father, and that connection is your father. So if you can hold on to something and bring it with you, and it could be a doll, it could be your favorite pillow, whatever it is. It's a pacifier almost, right?
Well, what I find interesting, you see the two different reasons why people start collecting, and it's just you look at the different passions on collecting, and both have passions. That Mark had his passion, particular thing, and Perry showing his passion and you start collecting one thing and gets you more and more and more. And you look at that, and neither one's right or wrong. They represent different people, different backgrounds, different things that make them tick. But they both collect. I find, interesting, behind both of them, one collecting to have and one not necessarily want to show off. One saying part of the passion is showing people when they come in. It's really, again, neither one's right or wrong, but it shows you the breadth of collecting.
I'll take the marks of the world over anything else. I'll take the mark plurals of the world over anyone else because the Mark Rosamans they're passionate. They love what they do. You can't get that information, the back and forth. The guy, and I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for it because it's, I do this for a living also, but I got to phrase my word. I got to be careful how I say it. But the guys that collect the Mike Trout, and I'm not taking them away from it. I make a living at whatever. I'm the guy that always never got caught up with the jumping on the bandwagon to what was the hottest thing in the world to make a buck. I was always slow and steady. I collected what I love. I like diverse inventory to my collecting base, where a lot of people today only come in and go, "What do you got in Fernando Tatis and Mike Trout?" And I collect Mike Trout. I collect, Fernando Tatis, Vladimir Guerrero, and any of these guys that are hot right now. I don't care about these guys, because I can't really make money on those guys because I love the people that collect because they want to collect the history or because they love the player, not for the value, whether it be me, Bobby Mercer, or someone collecting, an obscure Dave Kingman or whoever, George Theodore, whoever made that person think of something.
You'll never let me live that one down. So
wait, but before AJ, hold on. AJ, this is for you particularly.
I might not be able to pay my bills on George Theodore, and I may pay my bills on Mike Trout. But truth be told, I'd rather sell more George Theodore than Mike Trout.
So here, this is for you, AJ, because I've never, I've seen collections. Obviously, you don't see a lot of collections, but the Yuppie really blew me away. Like how A, do you get that, and B, do you think there's someone out there that is just a collector of mascots, whether it be just mascot bobbleheads, mascot dolls, and the actual mascot uniform, and what's the market for that? Like,
collect anything.
Collected for everything. I mean, there's a big bobblehead market, which there's a big. I mean, people are so crazy with bobbleheads, Mark, that they'll bring black lights to look to see if there's any repairs, if there's hairline cracks. I mean, it gets so crazy. If you're a real bobblehead collector, it's like looking at a baseball card. You would just love to have the bobblehead because you're collected because of your love. And then there's the end that gets pushed into it where I've got to look at it under a black light to see if it was touched or cracked or tampered with. But bobblehead collectors are animals. If you're a real monetary bobble collector, or you just like to have them. But yes, mascots. The bobbleheads in the 60s and the mascots and the Pirates and the details on those bobbleheads are amazing.
Mark, I think we have our next challenge. Anybody you're watching, if you collect bobbleheads.
Well, AJ, we know of one. And I actually reached out to him, Ed Moore, he goes by the name of Bobble Ed.
Tour, lifestyle of the rich and famous tour like we had today.
Right. No, he's in the midst of moving. Once he finished moving, he's in. So, but that's just it. I mean, we'll put the word out again. I mean, because I don't want to shortchange Yankee fans either. I'd love to see a Yankee collection because their history goes a lot deeper. What's that?
I think you have to break the Yankee collection into different eras.
That's true.
Collecting like the modern Yankees, then the 90s Yankees up to whatever. Then the 60s, the 50s and 60s Yankees are the Mantle and the Marisers, and then the Babe Ruth eras, and that I think
let's find somebody who collects the Horace Clark era.
Oh, they're
Jerry Kenny.
Jerry Kenny.
You know what, Mark? You wrote a lot of books on the Yankees. Did you ever?
No, Mets.
Mets.
No Yankees.
No Yankees.
All Mets. Mets and Rangers. No Yankee books. No.
There's a gentleman that I'm friends with on Facebook, Greg Prado, if that's how you say his name. He wrote a lot of books.
Yeah.
He interviewed a lot of people about and he did a book on those Yankees from those years. But you should bring him on a little bit because he can give you a little insight to those crappy years.
We've had Greg on for his Jet book. We've had Greg. He's also done a couple of
He's done
on music as well. Yeah.
He's a
No,
really
Greg.
nice guy. He comes in all the time.
Yeah, very nice guy. Great.
Yeah.
All right. So
a couple of his books.
it's awesome stuff. This was a great idea, Scott. This is very cool. And again, it's going to cost me money because now I'm going to go look for that Gary Carter jersey. Every week you're costing me money.
So
I got to get that bank.
Let's go back to that Expo thing. You would think it would be a great item, right? And nobody wants to, it was stuffed, whatever. I thought there was like stuff inside.
Right.
It was nothing. It's empty.
No. It was to keep the shape. Listen, Carter was my guy. And you also have the.
I was hoping there was a toothbrush or something in there, like travel, some, Brute by Fabergé or something.
But listen, we got an exclusive because if anyone ever finds any Gary Carter locked items, we now know the combination is 888. Good thing his number wasn't 6. All right. We'll see everyone next week. Thanks for tuning in.
I also want to see people's feedback. I want to see people, are they enjoying it? Again, what else do you want to see? Do you want to do? Do you want to talk about? Because your input will allow us to, enhance the show rather than just come up with ideas on our own. We want to know what people will. So the more people are watching it, please tell other people to join in. We want to see what you have, and we want to learn from what you collect also, because we want to make this, an interactive show.
And what I'll do is, obviously, when it's done, it stays in the feed, but I'll share it again and put that in there as well. Tell us what you want to see as well. So great stuff, Scott. As always, appreciate it.
Show my number of the store. If anybody has any questions, again, they need help with authenticating. They have a collection they want to show me. They have one that they want to sell. They need me to help them appraise it for insurance. That's what I do. So don't hesitate to reach out to me because
there's the website. Website's scrolling now.
So Scott, we go to phase 1, reopen on Wednesday. You opening for curbside pickup?
Listen, I'm whatever you want me to be. I am here for everybody's collecting needs. I just want to be loved again. I want to be wanted. So,
you are, Scott. You're essential.
Thank you. I want to think I am.
All right. We'll see you next week, Scotty. Be good. All right. Hope everyone enjoyed, and we'll put it out there. Please tell us what you want to see. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Enjoy your holiday.